We like underdogs.
Upstarts challenging the status quo.
So when RollingSquare told us that you guys nominated us to review the Hyphen 2 True Wireless Earbuds, we had to check them out.
Here's a real conversation.
Goedendag. We're DHRME.
Dinosaurs.
Hate.
Rising.
Meteoric.
Events.
So we've had a similar kind of price range earbuds on the channel before. Those were the Earfun Free Pro. Check out the link for that video. But I did a basic sound quality test comparing those to the Hyphen 2. And I felt like I enjoyed the earphones a bit more because the Hyphen 2, the highs and the lows were a bit smashed together or mushed together, or whatever you want to call it. Whereas on the earphones, I could really tell the highs were more distinct and the lows were more distinct. So but what did you think?
I think they sound very good for their price. They sound, for me, better than the Earphones Pro. The instrument separation is actually very close to the Galaxy Buds Pro, which are my current favorites. That video will drop soon on our channel, so stay subscribed. But the only part where I thought it lacked compared to like much more expensive buds, the bass was a bit boomier. But the instrument timbres, like especially in a jazz track like Stacey Kent's Les Amours Perdus, the instruments sounded very realistic, very natural. The treble is very airy and decent. There's a big caveat though. You do need to get a good seal, which I wasn't able to get. RollingSquare provides 3 different bud sizes in the box, and that's less than the earphones do.
Yeah.
So maybe for most people, earphones might end up fitting better. But there is something more about the...
Yeah, about the tips?
Tips, isn't it?
Yeah, so they did come with 3 pairs of silicone as well as foam tips. But what RollingSquare told us is that they're actually working on something called FHS tips. Not sure what they are, but they say it's the best of both worlds. So I guess it's a combination of silicone and foam. So those will be shipped out to the backers and the production units. But for us, the review samples don't have those.
Yeah. So we have to review them as we got them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in my view, if the foam tips don't work and the regular tips don't work, you will not get a very great sound. But having said that, for the price, they're really good sounding buds. I must say that the bass being a bit boomy is a very small nitpick. For this price range, I think it's a job well done by this company.
So if you're really into audio and you've been following us for a little while, you should take this guy's advice over mine. And no?
No. Everyone has different ears, Not everybody's into music equally. You have to say what you enjoy. And the good thing about our channel is we have 2 points of view.
Yeah.
So you have an MP3 and a fake audio file. I really think they're very refined sounding though, and I'm very impressed by that.
What did you think of the volume actually? I was wondering.
I'm an old guy, probably compared to some of you watching there. So a pro tip is never raise your volume to beyond levels you can't manage. So I never push it beyond a certain point. So even just for testing's sake, I tried pushing it to 100. One observation was it gets quite loud. Mm-hmm. Secondly, it doesn't distort at higher volumes. The volume levels, I thought at least till about 80 or 90% was similar to the Galaxy Buds Pro. Okay. So yeah, volume should not be a problem unless you're hard of hearing. Yeah.
Let's talk about what do they call it? The advanced passive noise cancelling.
What is that, Kevin?
Yeah, if you ask me, short answer is just the passive seal. Because I didn't really notice anything else apart from the passive seal. So there's no active noise cancelling.
Yeah.
Let's be clear about that. They don't, act as if it does, which we've seen in other buds.
Yes. Yeah.
From Samsung's to other Chinese brands as well.
Yeah.
Where they have it on paper, but they don't actually have any noise cancelling. But they did call it passive noise cancelling.
Which is just how it seals in the ear.
Yeah.
What did you think about the comfort?
So I tried them with the foam tips, and I've got to say, very comfortable. Very comfortable, and they fit quite well. I had to adjust them maybe every 20-30 minutes or so just to get it in there a little bit, but I felt I could wear them for hours on end and I wouldn't have any problem. So they were really, really good. Only thing is, we did get something which is a temporary version of the tips, so that's not going to be what you're going to be getting.
Yeah, and I tried the other tips because we don't want to be sharing earwax. And the silicone tips are just like your standard silicone tips. They're not very different from what you get on the earphones as well. In terms of seal, I think I would go for the foam had you not shoved them in your ear holes, because foam always tends to expand after you put it in, and it tends to form a better seal in general. And seal is everything for in-ear buds for sound quality. So if I had the choice, I would have probably gone for foam.
Yeah. Yes, they fit well, and yes, they're comfortable. But what I noticed is that occlusion effect. So that feeling of hearing your own voice in your skull. And, I wouldn't have much of a problem with it if I was just listening to music or a podcast or something. But the moment you start moving about, or you're on a phone call especially, and you can't hear your own voice from a hear-through perspective, but in your own skull, it was really uncomfortable. Like, I did not enjoy making any kind of phone calls or moving about and listening to audio. If I was sitting still, it's fine.
If you are used to a more semi-open design, like, I don't know, the Jabras or the AirPods Pro or even any other hear-through kind of earphones, this will have the occlusion effect, not comfortable. And speaking of the phone calls, we did do a phone call test. You tried it on for a whole day.
So yeah, the whole day was the intention. So I started off in the morning and I had my calls. So I was on a Teams call, similar to Zoom, right? I was on a call and immediately my team was saying, yeah, your audio is not what it was before, or wasn't what it was yesterday. What's going on? So I had to take them out and then switch earphones. But I immediately realized that, I could hear them okay, but the microphone was just not up to the mark. And then I called you to do a test.
Yeah. So I could hear what Kevin was saying, but it did sound, it was a very boxy kind of sound. So like very mid-heavy. Mm-hmm. So I think it is kind of optimized for a certain type of voice, but it wasn't very clear, I must be very honest. Mm-hmm. We've heard better microphones.
For sure.
Let's just put it like that.
And then we did do a small test with wind as well, just to test how it deals with wind noise. Simulated wind noise. It was a cold experience, but we do it for the channel. Yeah. And what did you think?
I thought it was okay. I think on one bud, there was a certain moment where you kind of got cut off. Mm-hmm. So it depends on which bud the wind is hitting.
Mm-hmm. So all in all, the microphone quality was not great on this. Neither in quiet conditions nor in a windy condition. And also on calls, like we mentioned before, the whole occlusion effect, because it doesn't have a semi-open design, it doesn't have hear-through, which I'm so used to on buds. The moment I get a phone call and I pick it up, it just kicks into that hear-through mode. So it feels natural to be talking on the phone, whereas with this, you don't get that. So,
True.
In terms of microphone quality, in terms of, controls for microphone muting, and in terms of just the overall comfort of talking on a phone call with these earbuds, not my pick, for sure.
Yeah, it's not great for muting. The hanging up works, right?
Yes.
The basics work, but the muting doesn't.
Yeah, that's interesting. So what you're referring to is actually the responsiveness of the touch gestures, and they are actually quite good. So it comes with a bunch of basic ones to play pause, to skip track, to go to the previous one, to hang up calls, to reject calls, all of that. And it also comes with volume controls, which... there are buds out there, of course, that offer it, but many don't, huh?
Yeah.
So nice to see that. And that's a long press on the right bud to increase volume and a long press on the left to decrease volume. And that worked. And when we received this product, we were kind of surprised with the color. It was, red. So that's not a color we have in our portfolio of earbuds at the moment. I think the
It goes well with the merch.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Which you should check out in the links down below. Yeah, so it's a pretty, standing out kind of color. I think it's quite cool. But that's all I got to say. It's matte finish, which I like as well.
Yeah. And speaking of the case, they do advertise it as what? Ultra compact. Nah, it's not ultra compact for sure. I think all the cases we have, barring the Sennheiser Momentum 3 and the QC35-2s.
And the Sony WF.
And the Sony WF 1000 XM3s are smaller than this. Every other case is smaller than this. So it's not a tiny case. I like the shape. I like the fact that it's matte. I like the fact that it has rounded edges. It can fit into a pocket well. Yeah. All that, yes, but it is not ultra compact.
But talking about the case, so the case is equipped with a Type-C charging port and also comes with wireless charging.
Does it work?
Yep.
It works. Wireless charging works. We tested it now.
Yeah. So these buds are IP55 rated, which make them dust and water resistant, so reasonably tough.
You could actually go for a workout in these.
Yeah. So coming back to the case, it does have a little LED light on it, which tells you when it's charging. And what's interesting is if you tap it twice on the side of the box, please demonstrate, yes, is that it tells you, based on the color of the LED, it tells you how much battery you have left.
It's white.
Yeah.
So we talked a bit about the case, but let's talk about the buds themselves. These buds stand out, they're not super tiny. I don't think they look bad. I think they look decent. They're kind of long. I think after the AirPods, we're kind of used to this shape. One thing to note is that these bad boys advertise 9 hours battery life on a single bud. That is, and 27 on the case. I think combined, that's the biggest number we've heard. And I think in our testing, we got very close to that, right? I think, looked at something like 8 hours plus.
Yeah.
But yeah, only the Galaxy Buds Plus, which is 11 hours on bud, which is ridiculous, is higher than this number just for the buds. So I think, again, this is something that helps this stand out compared to many other buds.
All right, so what kind of extra features or, added bonuses do you get on this? Well, typically in this section, we talk about the app. But in this case, there is no app.
Doesn't exist.
No. Which, on the channel, we've always discussed whether that's a good or a bad thing. At this price point, if you're looking for convenience and just, you just want to grab a pair and use them immediately, then these are the buds for you. There's no confusion with what should I put in the app? What should I change in the app? What should I adjust in terms of the EQ?
Yeah.
Which you cannot do if you have no app.
Yeah.
So.
True. And it's a win for privacy because with so much tracking and data around about you these days, these buds they can't send any information except via Bluetooth. So not bad.
So safe buds. So a typical feature you expect from buds, at least for the buds that we have, most of the buds we have, is smart pause. Just the fact that you take them out of your ears and they pause the audio, which these do not have. So you have to make sure that you pause them, else you're going to miss out on that very interesting part of a podcast or whatever you're listening to. So
yeah. Another thing they don't have is the ability to connect to multiple devices simultaneously. At this price point, I think it's a bit forgivable. So you need to kind of put them into pairing mode each time and then connect from your second device. So you do really need to kind of disconnect from the first device and then connect to the second one.
All right, so what's interesting is the pairing process, because that's a real pain in the... Yeah. So how it works is you take the buds out of the case and then they look for the new device. But if it's already been paired with another, it's going to connect to that. And then you cannot pair another device. So the only way to fix that is you have to go to the device that you've connected it to, disconnect it or unpair, whichever one you prefer, or switch off Bluetooth on that one. And then you can pair it to the next device. So there's no touching the buds and putting it into pairing mode.
Let's talk about a positive extra, which is you can use each of these buds independently. So that actually effectively also doubles your battery life, because if one bud is dead, you can put the other one in and you can keep switching, which even some higher end earbuds like the Jabras, which is much more expensive than this, don't offer. So they work on a master slave, which means your right earbud does all the heavy lifting and the left earbud connects to your right earbud. So if the right earbud's dead, the left earbud's useless. And in this case, you can use both independently. So let's talk about fixability. Hyphen 2 are covered by a 2-year warranty, and they also offer an optional lifetime warranty. I don't know how that works.
And they, of course, have customer support.
Yeah.
And they do offer support to users in case they need to repair their earbuds or guide them through the process of easily repairing them.
Yeah.
And apparently,
and they do sell spare parts as well on their website, just like the Hyphen 1 before this. All right, bottom line, let's close this big review out. What are the reasons to buy these earbuds?
Well, sound quality.
I think they're very refined.
Right?
Sound really good. Yeah.
So that would be a good reason to buy them. Another one would be battery life. A very high number of hours you get out of the buds itself, as well as the case.
They do have a certain look. They have a specific look, you know. They're bold. I like that. They're not super understated. And they're bold while not being ugly, which is also good. So they look better than a lot of more expensive counterparts.
Another reason to buy would be the price. To be honest, I mean, $89 is pretty competitive.
The single bud use, which means you can use each bud on their own, is also a good feature.
And the foam tips that do give you that comfort and secureness of fit, but of course you'll be getting the FHS tips that they're developing, which is a combi between silicone and foam.
At least that's what they promise.
Yes.
And the touch controls for volume is a nice touch as well.
Yep.
I don't think many other buds offer that.
No.
Apple.
And the fact that they do charge with USB Type-C, latest standard out there, and also wireless charging.
However, there are some reasons why you probably don't want to buy these earbuds.
Yeah, one of them could be the portability because of the size of the case. Like we said, it's not huge, but it's not tiny either. So yeah, your opinion could vary.
Yeah, and it's a small company. So yeah, all the risks that come with, buying products from a small company.
They have made products in the past like the Hyphen one and a bunch of other cables and battery chargers and packs and all that. So they have a bunch of other kinds of products, but they are, compared to the mainstream brands, they are a smaller company. The other reason why you wouldn't buy these is the call quality, and they are okay, but they're not great.
Another reason not to buy is the fact that you cannot connect to multiple devices simultaneously.
And if you take these buds out of your ear, they're not going to pause your audio for you, so there's no smart pause.
There is no active noise cancelling. They do say it's advanced passive noise cancelling, but that's all there is. There's also no transparency mode. So once you're in there, you're kind of shut off from the world.
Yeah. And shut off from the world apart from the voice in your in your head, because you do have that occlusion effect.
You've been hyphenated
twice, and we've been DHRME.
Namaste.